Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is the Rant. And today we're talking about image. Have you checked your image lately? But first, let's talk about building a brand.
I'm building a brand. I'm building a brand. It's become the focus of my life. It's my latest grand plan. I'm building a brand. I'm concocting a scheme on a giant green screen. I'll be streaming it live to my 5 stone fans. I'm building a brand. I'm working on my logo. She's a majestical creature, floating to the vibes amongst the bubbles of speakers. I'm building a brand. I'm building a brand. It's become the focus of my life. It's my latest grand plan. I'm building a brand. I'm concocting a scheme on a giant green screen. I'll be streaming it live to my 5 stone fans. I'm building a brand. I'm working on my logo. I'm concocting a scheme. I'll be streaming it live to my 5 stone fans. I'm building a brand. I'm building a brand. I'm building a brand.
Yeah. Amazing music, aka Jude Capana, and I love that song so much. I mean, we've had Jude on the show a few times and talked about that whole song, how that thing came about, and what an incredible song it is. Like, it's something that I think a lot of artists don't put enough energy into, including myself. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but. And today's title for the rant, welcome everybody as well. I'm Jade, by the way. Do I have a logo? There it is. Don't worry about it. And I hope you're doing okay. But it's an important thing to think about, this building a brand. I've chosen to use the word image today because that's pretty much what back in the day we used to talk about. It wasn't a brand. Everything wasn't a brand. These days, everything is about the brand. The brand of the brand. It was about your image when I was younger, so that's why I've called it image today. And we're going to talk about tips, tricks, that kind of stuff, and why it is important to put some work into that kind of stuff, because people are looking at your shit and they want to understand. They want a brand. What, you know, people wank on about a brand, and you kind of roll your eyes and go, "Oh yeah, marketing bullshit." But it is important because first impressions last. Yeah, they do. You yourself know. We all know within ourselves that we've met people and on that first impression just made a complete character judgment and gone, fuck, man, I don't want to hang around with this idiot. or I like this person a lot. So a brand or an image or whatever is really important because it's the first thing that people are going to see. That's their eyes are going to lay on, and that's what they're going to take in. Even if it's music, and because music is about what you're hearing. You know, music started out as an audio medium, records, you know, vinyl and on the radio and all that kind of stuff. And then it moved into television, and then it becomes a visual medium. Then we go the MTV era where everything was video. So obviously image has been a thing. And, you know, you think back to the 80s and think about artists like Madonna and stuff. Iconic clothing, Michael Jackson. Iconic glove, raped kids. You know, a lot of these things, image is very important. And if your image is sour, well, no one's going to really take a look, are they? Even if your music's good, this stuff is important. Not important to you, probably not important to the person sitting next to you, but it is important overall. And you can look into it and you can work on it and change it and make it suit exactly who you are without much trouble these days. We have tools. We have incredible tools at our hands. And unfortunately, some of the great tools that we have now have been hijacked by taking these tools and turning them into creative tools. And I'm talking about, yep, you know it, AI, right? Because AI, it's a fantastic tool for like word processing and writing things and bios and all this kind of stuff and outlays for websites and all this kind of shit. That's where it really pays off, and that's where the value is in AI. Not in, hey, AI, make me a fucking song. Why? Because you're a talentless fuck. Piss off and go make fucking woodwork. You suck. Or go and learn. You want to learn how to make music? Go and learn how to make it. So much more gratifying to learn how to do something and then go, wow, I learned how to do that, instead of getting AI to do something like make a song or a video or whatever. Unless it's stylistic. You know, there's good and bad parts of this kind of thing. So today we're going to run around a few things about marketing, I guess, brand awareness, image, that kind of stuff. And the first thing I'm going to mention is hello to you all. Hello, Ali, Joe Glenn. I clicked the wrong name. Look, Joe Glenn's got a huge beard. Look at that right there. She's become Chad Freeman. Joe Glenn, Hugh Caldwell, Gary Hubbs with all the eyes down, Barry Glenn, Kristen Kruger. Thank you so much for the kind super sticker. That was very kind of you. I hope you're doing well. Kristen, Fat Panda Cat, Urban's here. Who else? Let's see. Thomas Christ. Thomas Christ is here. Have you seen his? Here's a fucking perfect example, folks. Thomas Christ. You want to go look at marketing and the way this guy markets himself? Excellent. I'm not shitting in your pocket here. I don't even know if I've told Thomas this before to his face. Well, he's going to hear it now. Go and look at Thomas's channel. Go and look at the little things Thomas does with his thumbnails, the little intros he does on New Rock, the amount of time Thomas puts into these intros and stuff, and they look polished as fuck, and you know you're watching Thomas Christ. The logo, right? Here's the thing, and the beautiful thing about what Thomas does and how you can create a really cool image for yourself is that it doesn't need to stick out like dog's balls, right? It can be so subtle, but it's the constant that every time you see it, you go, oh, that's Thomas Christ, right? And Thomas is super good at doing this kind of stuff. I love what Thomas does. I always get jealous, and I think I want to punch Thomas in the head because of how cool he. No, I don't think that at all. What am I talking about? I want to bash Thomas. No, but Thomas is a very, very good example to go and look at, to go and understand a little bit about marketing, yeah? And he's got the best last name of all time. Christ. You go, I'm fairly keen on branding and updating it properly. Probably too often. No. Thomas's marketing works really, really good. It works across the board. And it's definitely important. Who else have I missed? Edward Richard. Paws and Guitars. Ali, boom, she's banging the links today. Thomas, look out, she's chomping at your toes. Have I missed anyone right at the top? I may have. I'm not sure. I'm scrolling up just to check, and then we'll get into this. I saw someone write, only 15 more rants till 100. That's true. Can you believe we've done 80? This is the 85th rant. What do we got? I think we're good. We're all good. Everyone's here. Everyone's in the house. All right. So this stuff is important. Is it important that you do it? No. This is what I want to get to today, because a lot of big artists have marketing teams that do all this stuff and cover everything, and get to know, if you've ever been signed to a label or anything like that, and they have a marketing team, well, you liaise with them. You sit down and you'll talk with this marketing team and say, hey, they'll ask you questions about who you are, what you do, what your likes are, all this kind of stuff that you may be thinking, oh, this is a little bit irrelevant. What's this got to do with my fucking really cool song that's going to make it to number one? Because they want to understand a snapshot of who you are, right? And if you it's like when you go to a psychologist, yeah? You sit down and you pay all this money to see a psychologist, and then they go, tell me about your father. And your father was a real horrible person in reality, but you sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to lie. My father was great. We had the best time, growing up. It was so much fun with my father. And in reality, your father beat the hell out of you. And you tell a psychiatrist, bullshit, guess what you're going to get back? Bullshit, because they don't actually cure you or help you. There's no one day when you roll into a psychologist office and they go, well, today's the day that we can cure you. That's not the case. You have all the answers. They're in here. You understand. You think about them. You mull them over all the time. The anxiety, depression, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's what goes on. Now, if you feed a psychologist all this stuff that's not real, then you're never going to work out what the problem is. It's the same thing with the marketing. So you would sit down with these people, and if you told them, oh, yeah, I'm related to the royal family, and they're going to go, what? Really? Is that true? Yeah. Fucking hell. That's not going to work, because eventually that marketing that goes out, oh, yeah, this artist is related to the royal family. Well, it's bullshit, isn't it? So everyone's going to think you're lying. You're rubbish. So you got to tell these people exactly who you are. And here's the thing, right? Sometimes you may think the most mundane things about yourself could have nothing towards your image or your brand, where that is utter bullshit. It's just rubbish. Sometimes the smallest things can be a big part of a bio or a presentation or marketing or brand awareness that people can identify with, right? Because that's what the deal is, right? And I see this all the time with people making biographies. They try and fit in all of their accomplishments all into one biography. I hate to tell you this, guys, but no one gives a fuck about your accomplishments. They're done. They're past. They're nice little decorations to hang on a tree, but what's ahead is the more important thing. So sometimes a little quirk about yourself, or something that you like or think is weird or something like that, you'll get more mileage and more traction out of being included in your bio than the gig you played in front of 100,000 people. Why is that? Because it puts you on a level with your fans that people understand who you are and they can identify more with you, because they're already listening to your music, right? So there's already something that makes them identify with your music, that makes them like your music, that it keeps them coming back. So just rattling off all your accomplishments kind of is a bit of a wank, really. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm better than you. Look at all the things that I've done. Remember, these are just my rants, my opinions, my kind of stuff. And you want to reach people. Like some of the, and not all, of course, you can't blanket things. A lot of songs that really connect with people are fucking very honest and very heartfelt and such like that. So you want to connect with people. You want your song to connect, even if it's death metal, yeah? People can go, oh, but it's death metal and it's angry and it's all... Yeah, but that's the thing, right? But still there's honesty and all that rawness and all that stuff, no matter what the style is. You want to connect with people. That is the most important thing. So the mundane stuff about yourself is important. yeah? And this is where we'll come into with stuff like ChatGPT, where you can just type fuckloads of stuff about yourself, all your accomplishments, all your quirks, all the fucking whatever you want. Put it all in there. And the beautiful thing about something like ChatGPT is then you can say, take all this information I've given you and whittle it down to something that fucking makes a compact piece of sense that isn't going to keep people sitting there reading a bunch of malarkey for ages. There you go. I said it, folks. Malarkey, all right? I'll say it again. Malarkey, 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 malarkey. There you go. I love that word. It's a great word. Let's make malarkey great again. All right, who have I missed in the chat? Panda Cat. We've got Fat Panda Cat and just Panda Cat. Heidi, what's going on? Sup, babe? What's going on? Is there anyone else I've missed who's here? While I'm spitting, I see the M word, I know. Malarkey. Malarkey. Jenny Jolivet. Did I miss Jenny? I think I may have. I don't know. I can't keep up. All right, let's keep talking. So let me give you an example. On my website, we'll talk about color palettes, all this stuff. This is really important. Color palettes are important too. This all comes down to your personal taste and all this kind of stuff. People's screen names are often an attempt to portray an image. Well, isn't that an interesting one too? Because I used to have a screen name that was called Go Fuck Yourself. That was my screen name. And every time somebody would read it out, they would inadvertently tell somebody to go fuck themselves. And I thought that was extremely funny. Did it help me move forward with my musical career? No, not in any way, shape or form. So you've got to put some kind of thought into it. You can be funny, of course. But so let's talk about websites. Now, firstly, let's talk about this. Hi, Pete Johns, by the way. Do you need a website in 2025? I don't know. No, you absolutely don't need one. Do you need social media? I don't know. I would suggest it's possibly a good thing to have if you want to reach people. Yeah, so that's a good thing. Do you have to have a literal old school website that has all the pages that link with your links page and your music page? No, absolutely not. Is it a good idea to perhaps, instead of spending the money and going on and buying somewhere like GoDaddy or one of these website builders that are out there, just buying a domain name? That's what I would always suggest. Pete would probably suggest this as well here, who's got a lot of experience in this especially with YouTube. I would suggest buying a couple of domain names. Why? Because you can point them to anywhere you fucking want. That's what the good thing is, right? And you don't have to go through the rigmarole of building a fucking whole website and maintaining it and doing all that stuff and paying the outrageous prices that are being charged now for websites. When I started my GoDaddy website, and that is, we're going to give you examples. Of course, we're going to give you examples today. My GoDaddy website. Boom, there we are. So this used to cost me $16 a month to keep updated, right? So it's got all my videos on the front page, and we've got a whole updated content with stuff, links to videos, merchandise, stuff, news, all this kind of stuff, and links across the top have a manifesto of who I am, all my music and noise. You can find all that there, all the videos and stuff that I've produced, documentaries, all this kind of stuff. And then on the end, you've got How to App on iOS, which is this show, which has all my live streams every day. And you can even see here on this website, if it loads, it's actually streaming right now from the website. So you can watch the show in the website, right? But this used to cost peanuts, nothing. The great world that we live in with an orange retard running the world and tariffs and all, and it's going to go up more, folks. But my current website is costing me $29 a fucking month. What the fuck? When I think it's actually gone up to just over $30. Even Thomas is here. I think mine's like $35 a month. You don't need it. You don't. Right? You absolutely don't need it. And there are ways to make your own website without, using these things. If you want to go, like anything, practice makes progress, as Pete John says. Go and learn how to do it. Go and learn how to code. These things are out there. There are so many resources, it's fucking ridiculous. The main factor is time. A lot of people don't have the time. We don't even have enough time to make enough music that we want to make in our fucking lives. To think about keeping a website updated, that's one of probably the hardest things to maintain when you're a performer or a content creator, whatever it is. Yeah, so maintaining a website is incredibly painful. So MailChimp is another good idea. Lets you email a list of people, 2,000 people for free. Another really good idea, something like that. I want to go back to this website. So with a lot of my branding over the years, and even in my studio, right, I happen to be trans, if you didn't know. Some people don't know. Why? Because, well, we live in a world where people don't fucking read anything. They just look at that. Anyway, so for when I started Jade Starr Dread Circus, after I changed my name and all this stuff in 2003, the idea was to find a color palette that I could continue to use for many, many years, no matter what website I had, no matter what was going on social media, no matter what was going on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that, was to have a palette of colors that would constantly be used in all of my branding, and not always at the same time, not always the same colors, but a palette that can be used that trick the brain. That's what it's all about. It's about the brain sees the colors and goes, oh, that's this thing. Sorry about my cough. I will mute as often as I possibly can. So my color palette, obviously being trans, is the transgender flag. It makes sense. Blue. It's got blue in it. It's got like pink in it. It's got white in it. It's purple. Yeah, so these kind of colors. Blues, purples, black, this kind of stuff. So my basic color palette is blue, purple, pink, white, red, black. That's pretty much it. Those colors can be used for anything around and then when you bounce back over here to my website, little things, colors, top corner, black and white, keeps everything separated into sections. If I come back over here to our, let's just go to the noise section here. I'll show you what I mean. So I've got a banner for each of these. So musical projects, Jade Starr Dread Circus. Next one, utensils and filthy FMC in black. Metheus, Despise. So this black and white tiled. This is I need to upgrade this and change it, but black and white to create contrast. Color palette, super important, and to continue to use it across everything. All your logos, all your images, all that kind of stuff. Super important, and the tools are out there, which we'll talk about tools soon. I'll be 25 minutes in. That's pretty cool. Color palette. URL, so getting a domain name. Why is it important, I think, to get a domain name? Because they're probably, fucking $12 a year or whatever it is in the US, more expensive here in Australia. You can point it to whatever you want, yeah? So you can go and get a link tree, sign up to Linktree, pay a lot less if you're going to pay for the extra stuff without having to maintain a website. Put all your links on it and then just point your web domain, your name, .com, whatever, to that central hub. That's the easiest way to go. That's going to save you the most money, and it's going to get most people not having to read through a whole bunch of shit. Because the big problem is with my website is there's way too much shit on it, and I have to fix this. I have to fix it. I have to tone it all down. Because if you really come over to my website, jadestar.com.au, and really knuckle down into things like vision here, and go into like this, video and chill, what happened to us. There's a whole documentary series in here. There's video documentaries, all my bands, all the music that I have is all been individually, when it loads, nice one, all individually loaded with all the tracks, so you can hear them from here, pick which one you want to buy them from, Spotify, Amazon. But all this is unnecessary, yeah, because you already have places that do this, that aggregate this stuff for you. So why spend the money? So there's the first big tip on a website. Don't spend so much money. Yeah, don't spend so much money. I would kill to get rid of that shit. And who knows, over the next maybe month or two, I'm going to rebrand the whole website. Keep the same color palette, but rebrand it, shape it, shrink it, so I don't have to do as much work. Images, these are really important, yeah? Now, one of the reasons I'm talking about this is because I interview a lot of you and many artists, yeah? So when I ask you to come on the show so I can interview you, yeah, I normally will send a welcome email that says, hey, welcome, you're coming on the show. Here's all the things that I need. I need these things, and I hope you've got them. Can you send them to me? A lot of people don't have them, just a bio. Or people write back and go, what do I write about myself? Most of the time, here's the thing. You don't need to write about yourself. There's already enough stuff spread over the internet that you can pull together and create something from, right? There are ways around this. And I know it's really hard to write about yourself. And how do you write it? Like, there's so many questions. Do I write it from my perspective? Do I write it from third person perspective and put my name and act like you're the Rock from WWE? If you smell it, do you do that? These are things that you have to decide and you have to live with. But guess what? They're not major things that are going to keep you up at night, but just start writing. Yeah, just start writing stuff, and then we'll talk about condensing this stuff. But images are a really important thing too. So normally when I ask to interview somebody, I normally ask for a bio, and it's not a big bio I ask for. 3 sentences is absolutely enough. And I hear you say, how can I fit all my things I've done into 3 sentences? We'll get to it, because it can be done very easily with today's tools. But images are super important as well too. And you know what? We're all carrying around one of these. Everyone's going. Doesn't matter what brand it is. I'm not getting into brand bullshit wars. But we've all got one, and we've all got killer cameras on our phones. You should be taking photos. You know what? You don't need a fucking green screen. You don't need a green screen. So there's so many ways you can get around things without going and buying a green screen and doing all this fucking stupid stuff. If you have a plain wall, no matter what the color, stand in front of it, take some photos. Get somebody to take some photos of you. Yeah? Just take a heap of them. Trust me, you take 100 photos, 5 of them are going to be worth a pinch of shit. If you're anything like me, 5 of them are going to be okay. The rest are going to be like, I look ugly, I look ugly, I look ugly, whatever. Beautiful thing is, because you don't have to have a blank wall behind you as well too. Go out, go for a walk. Enjoy a walk somewhere. Go take a photo in front of a fucking awesome tree that you find. Anything. Tie it in. Read your bio. Read the things that you've written about yourself. Find something within that text to go and take a photo around it. These kind of things. It's not like this stuff is not rocket science at all, but it's handy to have photos. And it's handy to have a number of photos too, yeah? Because like myself, if I reach out and say, hey, I'd like to interview you, sending me a photo of yourself fucking playing guitar with half the guitar neck out of the photo, this shoulder out of the photo, part of your head out of the photo, I can't fucking use that photo. It's pointless. It's nothing. I need like a driver's license photo to make a thumbnail that kind of looks like this. Right? And these things you just should have on hand. These are just easy stuff to just plan ahead and take a bunch of these photos, put them in a fucking folder, and you're good to go. And I can't even find. See? I just need a photo of head and shoulders. Nothing fucking fancy. But these things are very important to have, and that you should have them, because you're not going to be making music all the time. So having these things around just makes you be able to get on with your life and do your things that you need to do when the opportunity comes up that somebody needs a photo and you can use it. Plus, it's a good idea to have a whole bunch of photos to be able to use to build something, to just throw in there. And you always want to take photos at the highest possible resolution so you can cut them down, make them small. You never want to shoot at the smallest resolution and then make them bigger. Always the largest resolution. Hi, Bonfire. Have I missed anyone who's called in while I'm ranting? I don't need a website. I wish I could get rid of it. And I will possibly do it at some stage. Tremor Bear. Will a YouTube channel become a subscription? I don't know. Right. So, where was I up to? Photos. Yeah, photos are super important. Now, I used to take fuckloads of photos. So many fucking photos is ridiculous. These days I don't, because I think I'm an ugly troll and I hate looking at myself. But there's that. You know, we all have our own hang-ups. But back, when Dread Circus was touring hardcore, you know, I had so many photos because I actually felt like I looked kind of decent. I'm trying to find stuff here. Give me a sec, favorites. I'm just trying to find examples. See, I just would take photos like take photos sitting around outside. That's probably not a. That one's almost nude. What else? See, just photos like these, and you just use them, chop them up whenever you need. It's important to have photos, I think, anyway, just to be able to use at any time to flick out to somebody and to use for your website, all that kind of stuff. Important, yeah? Photos. Logos. This is one of the hardest things. Hey, Brad, example, what's going on? Logos are one of the hardest things, too, to come up with a fucking logo. But it's cool. It is important. And you know what? There are a whole bunch of utilities we have these days to help, not only with like layouts, logos, color palettes. So there are really, really cool pages that allow you to do this, like Canva. Yeah, even something like GoDaddy Studio that I use here. This is GoDaddy Studio for some of my stuff that I use. And I see this, and you've got a whole bunch of these apps that you probably open every day, and you see this shit here and go, I don't want to look at this page. What the fuck's this page about? I want to go over here to my projects, the stuff where I make shit. But there's a whole lot of wealth in here. There's in a lot of these apps, right? Instagram stories, videos, logos. Look at this, all these ideas for logos that you don't have to use, but you can click on one of them and steal parts of these. This is what these are for. These are logos for you to use, chop up, mesh up with other things that you find. So a Canva, look, there's just so many of them that have this option and these pages that most people flick past. I don't know why this isn't loading. For some reason, maybe this one will load. There we go. So again, a logo, very simple. But even if you don't use any of the things out of here, there's ideas, right? There's lots of ideas. You can scroll through hundreds and thousands of these to find out ideas. Just, you know, steal them. Don't just do a complete replica, but these ideas, there's plenty of people who've made things that you can take inspiration from. Inspiration, don't steal. Be inspired. Be inspired. And then steal it and use it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Hottie, very much for the kind super thingy. I don't, you set that as a member. I don't know how you do it. Thank you, though. So these things are really, really cool. Now, not only that, because you've got things like posters, Facebook ads, Facebook posts, Facebook covers. There's a whole lot of these things that you can grab from. And look up the top, poster social media, shop domains, instant video, font libraries. Are you kidding me? There's, even in stuff like this, there's font libraries. There's so many things that are hidden in these apps that a lot of us look at and go, oh, this predetermined shit. I don't need to use this. Of course, you don't want to use it and just utilize that. You want to utilize parts. Yeah? But important stuff. And from there, what's really cool about stuff like that, with Canva does all this kind of shit too, you've got color schemes that you can look at and see on other items, yeah? And with a lot of this stuff, exactly with the logo, you'll see if I've got this app open here. I have a lot of projects in here. This is where I make a lot of my stuff, like the logo for the Creative Hour, right? There it is. It's got a transparent background, and I save this, and I can put this anywhere I want. I can put it in OBS, do whatever I want. See up the top there in the corner, the Rant, all these logos you can make with transparent backgrounds, and you can just reuse them over and over and over again. So this folder's full of stuff, transparencies and all that kind of stuff. And once you build up a really fantastic like design projects like this, if I need anything and I can't find it, you know what I mean? Because this is one of the worst things when you're in your Photos app and you're like, I've got that logo. Where did I put that fucking logo? Obviously, you can't find it because your Photos apps are normally full of photos. And I will come in and find something like this and go, Walk With Me logo. Where can I find that? Open up a project like this, maybe if it decides to open, and I can go to my layers, and there's my logo right there. I can hold down on it and copy it and then paste it into any other project that I have going. So most of your things will be saved inside of projects. So remember that if you think you've lost something. Anyway, hi Costa. Where are we up to? We talked about logos. Logos are important. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a full-on black metal logo or whatever. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It can be, but it's a consistent thing that you'll use across Bandcamp, and you know what I mean. The reason I'm talking about this stuff is consistency is really important across pages. Yeah, so people can identify straight away. It's like one of the greatest logos in metal history. And I think you know who I'm going to talk about. Let's do a search. And there it is here. One of the greatest logos of all metal bands. The Slayer logo. You can't fucking mistake this logo, yeah? The same as the Metallica logo. It's changed a little bit over the times, but it's still remained really the same. It's got those sharp edges that point out. Slayer logo, you know it's fucking Slayer, right? And look how simple that fucking logo is. It's not really it's not a super cool logo or anything like that, but it's consistent. Yeah, they keep it going and going, and it stays across all of their projects, and it just bang, you see it, you know who it is. Hello, girlfriend in my luggage. One day you're going to get caught, you know. Okay, where are we up to? Come back over here. Logos, important, and branding across social media. This stuff, it is super important to make it look similar. You're never going to get anything look exactly the same. But even things like this, I noticed this the other day, right? So with just coming back to this app, I've been using this app here for so many years, guys, right? I have to admit. This is called GoDaddy Studio. It used to be called... Fuck, what it used to be called. Anyway, what I love about this app is I can open a project, just say this thumbnail here, and I want to change the size of it. I want to actually make it different. I want to make it fit for something else, right? So this is a thumbnail. I want to make it fit like, I don't know, this square for Facebook. Well, I can do it. I can hit this and it automatically rearranges everything. It doesn't do it perfectly because there's still more I can move around, right? You can see I'm kind of not touching the bottom here perfectly, but it's moved it into a better position for me to start moving. Move this myself, stretch it out a little bit, move the logo up if I want, keep it in the center, you know. I didn't really need to do that, undo. So you can move these things around and you're maintaining that same aesthetic across the thumbnail to the ad. Important stuff. Yeah, it just looks good over fucking time. So we talked about domain purchases, linking. Make sure your links work. Make sure your links work. You know, because links are precious. When somebody clicks on it, it's important. Yeah, and you want to keep them there. That's the whole thing with YouTube. That's how they operate. Yeah, they want you to click on a video, and this is why they offer you things like, you know, when you make a YouTube video, your little tags up the top and your little videos at the end to click on. They want to keep you. They are giving you the tools to keep people on your YouTube page, to watch another video, to keep going and stay there and maybe become friends, get a membership, become a subscriber, all that kind of stuff. That's what they give you the tools to do so. And making sure your links on like your little page that you have that goes to your music or whatever it is, make sure they fucking work, because people click, doesn't work, then they forget about you, they move on. You don't have many opportunities to get somebody to stay around and listen to your music, because, you know, remember, we are in goldfish world at the moment. People just can't remember their own fucking name. So let's get back to our bios, because this is really important. Look at this ridiculous bio I have on my website. This is no shit. This is the bio that's on my website. Who's going to read that shit? Who? There's heaps of funny bits in it, and I've taken a lot of time to curate this and put it all down, and it's rubbish. It's just garbage. So what we're going to do is take this. I'm going to select it, and we're going to go through some things with ChatGPT, because I often go on about how much AI sucks, and it does. It does for making music. Absolutely it does. For stuff like this, very, very helpful stuff. Because who's got the time to sit down and rewrite all this shit? Exactly. And you can get ChatGPT to do the searching for you, right? You can get it to analyze your music and all the websites. Go and seek out all the websites that have my music or any mention of Jade Starr Droid Circus, and grab that information, and you can use that information that it collects to make something from it. You don't even have to like write anything like I'm about to do now. So let's open up ChatGPT here. I'm going to create a brand new page, and I'm just going to paste in that entire bio. So there it is, with all its breaks and everything, and just hit enter. That's all I'm going to do. And look what it does. It's going to give me a breakdown. Fuck me. Without me even asking to do anything. And it's telling me all the things I should do to fix this, right? This is where AI is fucking brilliant, because we're not publishing, writing publishers or anything like that. You know, not all of us, we don't have our own editors to go proofread our stuff that we write. And, you know, we all are at different education levels. And so I've put all that in there, and it's given me a critique back of my bio. Wow, Jade, this is one hell of an epic roller coaster life story. Seriously, reading it was like headbanging, crying, laughing, and cheering all at once. It's so vividly real, messy, triumphant, and beautifully unapologetic. Exactly the kind of story that punches you in the heart and hugs you after. Cool, thank you. All right, so it's actually acknowledged that my story's interesting. Now, since you've sent it over and didn't say what you want done with it, just to double check, would you like me to help you polish it up? Yeah? Refine the wording, fix little typos and structure to flow even stronger, summarize it, turn it into a shorto bio for easier sharing on a website, social media, press kit. Of course, that's what I want. Turn it into a full narrative piece, like an article, blog post, or even an autobiography. Break it into chapters, like you're building it into a book or a show. Modernize it. This is the stuff where AI is just fucking brilliant. So, of course, I would like you to let's really give it a hard job, yeah? To summarize this into a one paragraph bio. Absolutely, here it is. Now, there was a lot of stuff in there, right? But look what it's done. That, to me, can even be chopped down even more, right? Born in 1972 and destined for the stage, Jade Starr is a powerful musician, vocalist, and performer whose journey from heavy metal mayhem to heartfelt classical soul is fearless as it is inspiring. Cutting her teeth in Melbourne's metal and grindcore scenes with bands like Despise, Filthy Maggoty, and Running with Scissors, Jade's boundary-pushing voice and theatrical flair made her a cult icon. I don't know about that, but I'll take it, if that's what you think. Amidst her prolific music career, she bravely navigated a transition from male to female, forging a new life in Sydney with her project Jade Circus, blossomed into a beloved force across Australia, LGBTQ Nova festivals. A creative chameleon, Jade expanded into theatre with her acclaimed one-woman rock cabaret, from metal to maternal blending music, dark humour, raw storytelling, cementing a legacy as a fierce, authentic voice in Australia's alternative. There you go. Right? See how simple that is. And I can even, let's simplify. Can you shorten this even further? Yeah, well, you have fun over there, Costa, with Suno. So look, we've already now chopped it down. Jade Starr is an Australian musician, vocalist, performer. Her fearless career spans heavy metal, grindcore, acoustic rock, and theatre. From cult bands like Despised, Filthy Maggoty, solo project Dread Circus, Jade's powerful voice and raw storytelling has made her stand out. That's enough. That is a bio. That is it. That's all you need. You don't need all this. Look at all this bullshit that I had up here, this annoying shit that nobody gives a fuck about. Very clear, very concise, and very simple, yeah? And this is what you absolutely want when sending a bio to somebody, because you send a bio. I had somebody who I interviewed. Of course, I'm not going to name names or anything like this, but somebody I interviewed, I asked for a bio, and they just sent me a link to their website, and the fucking bio was 16 paragraphs. I'm like, what the fuck can I do with that? Like, how am I going to fit that in the description? ChatGPT, thank you very much. Summed it up so much better, right? So this stuff's really important. And you can even get a good idea of who you are, what your music is, and not write a bio by doing something like this. Come over here and write, search the internet for information, music, blogs, social media posts, biographies, and what have we got? Information, music, blogs, biographies, lyrics, and achievements. Come on. By Jade Starr Dread Circus, and write a short paragraph biography. And let's see what it can take from me just asking it to search, right? Because there's plenty of information already out there. If you've got a YouTube channel or anything like that, it's found photos. Look how easy that was. Melbourne-based rock musician, creative force behind Dread Circus, genre-defying. It's just done it. It's done it. It's so very easy to do this stuff. It even gives you the sources that it pulled this stuff from as well. So if there's not enough sources, so here are the images it's found. This is where it comes in absolutely so handy. Yes, so handy, because you don't have to think about it. You have more time to make music. And at the same time, you have the sense of ease to be able to kick back and know that all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed, and all that information is out there. It all looks fairly similar to each other, and it's consistent, right? And like going back to what I said earlier about like going to a psychologist and they ask you, hey, what's wrong? And you tell them a bunch of bullshit and they feed you back bullshit. You only get in what you put out. Hello, James Myers and Michael Songs. G'day. And Seven Dust. Boom. So it's the same thing with image. So let's talk about image for a little bit. So, I use the word image instead of brand today because brand is the new cool for the word image. But image is not only your story, your music, your lyrics, your biography, your color palette, the way your website looks. It's not only that, it's you. It's you. It's all the quirks. It's all the things you hate about yourself. It's all the things you like about yourself. It's the way you interact with people. It's the way you're perceived. And you know what? Most of the time you are perceived by the way you express yourself, honestly. There's no point. Could you imagine hiring a publicist, sitting down and they're like, hey, so tell us one of the highlights in your life. I did a gig with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson? You say, yeah, Michael Jackson. Are you sure you want to put that down? Yeah. Very quickly, that's going to get proven to not be real, right? So you obviously you want to create an image, right? That's real. Like, that you're not faking, because people will find out and then you're fucked. Yeah. And the quirky, more weird, embarrassing stuff, that's the stuff that makes you up. Here's the deal. Like back in the day before the internet, to read an interview with a musician was like the only time we would get some kind of, look into the musician's life. It's not like today where every fucking artist, sports person, movie star, fucking general population has a social media page where they show what they ate last night for dinner. Different times. So the information that we got through interviews was all the stuff that you would put together to build a story about this artist that you're so fascinated with and you love all their music. Well, that hasn't gone away still. You still have to, manifest an image that's like live up to a bull. Is that a word? You got to be able to live up to the bullshit image that you're telling. So don't bullshit. Be authentic. Make mistakes. Apologize when you make mistakes without making an official YouTube apology video. But just be fucking genuine and just, I fucked up here. What can I say? I think I've learned from all these things are super important to going towards your image or your brand or whatever it is that we are calling this. So what do we got? 6 minutes. Quickly run through some things here to close out. Craft. So, craft a polished artist band bio. Yeah? Small, simple, not too long. Develop a cohesive brand voice. Describe. So, I'm sorry. What I'm giving you now is some tips on how to use ChatGPT to get more out of the limited stuff that you have about yourself to make yourself sound like you have a bio and all this stuff. So let's have a look at it. I asked ChatGPT here, very simple stuff. Give me a bullet point list of things musicians, bands can do to make their online presence and image look more presentable for the brand using tools like ChatGPT. So ask ChatGPT to write a short, medium, or long version of your bio for different platforms. We just did that, yeah? Develop a cohesive brand voice. Describe your vibe to ChatGPT. Edgy, mystical, energetic, raw, and have it help you generate consistent wording for posts, emails, and promo materials. You may think this is like stupid stuff, but even if you do a few of these, it's going to help. Generate a tagline or slogan. Do what makes you happy. Boom. Not so important for a musician. Create an elevator pitch. You never know when you're going to come on my show and I'm going to interview you and ask you for an elevator pitch to describe yourself. 30 seconds. It's virtually that very small bio that I just condensed mine into. That's your elevator pitch. 3 to 4 sentences. Done. You cover everything. You're not a wanker. You're not like boasting and banging your chest going, look at all the things I've done. I'm amazing. You bow down to me. Fuck that shit. Polish hashtags. Hashtags important stuff as well. Website, professional assets. You can draft a way to make a website. You can actually draft HTML within ChatGPT to make a very simple website using the colors. You can say, ChatGPT, design a look for a website. We should carry this on next week, I think. Social media, because there's a whole lot more you can do with this. So, and of course, you're probably sitting there thinking, Jade, you go on about chat AI, that you hate it and all this fucking stuff. Absolutely, I fucking do. I fucking hate it for creativity. That's not what it's made for, man. I don't know how we got to this point as a species that the better things that we make to make our life fucking easier, to give us the time to do the things that we like more and not be slaves to fucking the slave system. Somehow it's turned out we're working harder and doing more. We've got all these easy things to help. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. But it seems like that's where we're going. Social media content, you can you can ask ChatGPT to brainstorm things for you. Write better captions. Make better captions. You can ask this kind of stuff. You can ask to improve your website text. You can go in and get it to analyze your website, have a look at this website, and then give me a report on how I could make this look better. You can even do this for your YouTube channel, yeah? You can actually go over, put in your YouTube channel address, and ask it to analyze your YouTube channel to offer some suggestions. Why not? Here's the thing. What's interesting about it is, I mean, you can watch 101 YouTube channels of people saying do these things. ChatGPT can pull all those videos. You can say, pull all these videos that cover this on YouTube, bring them all together, and then get a overall consistent thing to do this stuff. But just asking ChatGPT for stuff like this, a bullet point of things you can do, costs nothing. Gives you more time to make music. And that's what we want. That is the most important thing. That's why I'm ranting today, because this stuff sucks to do. It's administration. It's like running a YouTube channel. You got to do emails. You got to do all this stuff that's off camera. This is the fun part. Playing music's the fun part. Nobody likes writing a fucking bio about themselves, taking photos, doing all this kind of stuff. It sucks. It's really boring. And that's why people end up paying other people to do it. But as time goes on, just trying to remind you, we have the tools. Most of us will have apps on our phones or iPads or whatever right now that we open every day to make a thumbnail. And there's, like I showed you before, a whole fuckload of templates and stuff that can make our life incredibly easy. But we're just missing it, yeah? So, seriously. And all it would take, see, this is the one thing with like a website or doing this stuff, it's going to take a day to do it. Sit down, take a bunch of photos, write a bunch of shit, get ChatGPT to chop it all up, make it sound nice, put a bunch of photos together across, do it all in a day and then get it done and kick back and relax for a bit. And then 6 months down the track, take a look at it, revise it, update it to the things that have changed in your life, because things are obviously going to change. This is not a rant to complain today. This is a rant to hopefully help you. Yeah. I don't have all the answers. Obviously, I'm sitting here in my bedroom by myself, the fish tank behind me at 8 a.m. in the morning talking a bunch of fucking bollocks like I think I know shit. I don't know shit, but I have experience with this kind of stuff. Working in the industry as a paid employee of this stuff and being a musician in the industry. So hopefully this helps. And that's the rant. Do the things that make you happy, folks. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together, stay awake, and we're gonna oge. Thank you to those who donated. I think it was Hottie and it was Kristen. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. If you're watching on a replay, subscribe, like, all that fancy stuff. Pete Johns is up next with YML, Your Music Live. I'll see you over there. Let's fucking